welcome to another episode of the Comedy Corral. I'm Cowboy Ken, alongside my co-host, Mr. Good Lord, what in the world happened to you?
Life's crap. That's what happened. I think this show is starting to come true, or your bad luck is rubbing off on me because the car battery blew up today.
Oh, that is nothing. I've been blown up several times. Are you good?
No, I'm not good. Look at me. I'm a wreck.
No, your car is a wreck. You are just a little shaken up.
Shaking up. The button of this thing is in another town.
Well, what happened?
When I got here today, my car was acting funny.
Was it laughing?
No, it wasn't laughing. It's a car.
Why did you stop?
I was waiting for you to say something stupid again.
Hey, you are obviously distraught. I'm trying to cheer you up.
Well, do me a favor.
Sure, anything.
Stop it.
Okay. Finish telling us what happened.
Like I said, my car was acting funny and making a noise. So when I parked, I popped the hood release so I could check it out. And just as I started to lift the hood, boom! An explosion happened and blew the hood up and threw me back about 4 feet to the ground.
Wow. Mr. Ed, welcome to a day in the life of Cowboy Ken. Are you okay for real?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Do we need to postpone the show or can you continue?
No, I'm good. We can continue.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have been blown up 3 times.
Why aren't you dead for real?
I cannot answer that, Mr. Ed.
Okay, how old were you when you were first blown up?
8.
8. How in the heck do you blow yourself up at the tender age of 8?
Well, like I said, I have encountered several explosions in my life, or things that go boom, as I'm calling it. But none of these are normal explosions. Oh, no, 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 no. Not like you see in the movies, like C4 or demolition bombs. Nothing sexy like that. In my life, it has always been abnormal explosions, or things that you wouldn't ordinarily think would go boom.
Sexy? Really? I bet you're the only guy in the world that refers to explosions as sexy. No wonder you're single.
I bet I'm not. Anybody in that profession probably considers their craft to be sexy.
You and I disagree greatly on what is sexy. But back to blowing up at the age of 8.
My parents had bought me a beginner's chemistry set, complete with Bunsen burners, test tubes, the whole 9 yards.
All right, cowboy. The suspense is killing me. Chemistry set?
Well, my dad had just completed building our house that took him 3 years to finish. And the house was beautiful. It was the first time in my life that I had a bedroom with my own bathroom.
What does any of that have to do with the chemistry set?
Be quiet, Ed. I'm getting there.
Well, light the fuse and get there faster.
Patience, farm boy.
We have had this conversation before. I can't wait.
You have to. Anyway. One Saturday morning, I'm in my bathroom playing with my chemistry set, and I'm mixing chemicals like a miniature mad scientist, while my dad is outside working on our lawnmower at the shed, which is about 30 feet from the wall of my bathroom.
Why were you in the bathroom?
Because the bathroom made the perfect laboratory, not to mention a pretty nice laboratory as well.
Has anybody ever told you you're weird?
Not a one. My dad was changing the blades on the lawnmower, I think, and the shed was directly in front of the wall of my laboratory.
Bathroom.
What?
A bathroom is not a laboratory. It's a bathroom.
Laboratory sounds better, dude. But I mixed these 2 chemicals together, and instantly, these 2 chemicals met, and they created an adverse reaction that I had not yet seen in my young scientific life. They smoked and spilled over the test tube, creating a smelly and foamy-looking substance.
What was it?
I don't know, Ed. I'm not a chemist.
What did you do?
In a panic, I took the test tube and poured the toxic creation down the toilet. Feeling that crisis had been averted, I cleaned up my mess, put the chemistry set away, flushed the toilet, and exited the bathroom, shutting the door behind me.
Where's the explosion? You're slipping in your storytelling.
No, I'm not. I didn't get 3 steps from the door when all of a sudden, boom! That explosion stopped me in my tracks instantly. I turned around and went back to the door with a fear unrivaled in any horror film ever made.
You're afraid of horror films too?
Not afraid of them, I just don't like them. I would rather do the scary than being scared.
Dude, if it makes you feel better, I'm scared right now.
Hey, it kinda does. The bathroom door survived the explosion, but just barely. As I slowly opened the bathroom door, it made a creaking sound as if to say, "Help me."
Your bathroom door talked?
No, Ed. But in just a few minutes, the door is the only thing going to be in need of help.
Who's gonna be in need of help?
Ed, shh. As the bathroom door opened, I instantly saw the outside yard through a gigantic hole that used to be my bathroom. The sink and the vanity cabinet was in the yard. I began thinking to myself, this is not going to end well.
Why not?
One word, Dad.
Oh yeah, the ultimate correction to a child's mistake.
Still standing in the doorway, afraid to move, I leaned the upper half of my body downward to look out the hole when my eyes spotted my dad, with what was left of my toilet at his feet, wearing more of his only son than he ever dreamed he would.
Wait, your dad was wearing your stuff? Oh, you're dead!
I thought so, because it seemed as though my dad traveled the 30-foot distance in one step, and he grabbed me by the seat of my pants and snatched me out of the hole in the wall.
Oh no, what happened?
Some of you may not get this next part, but that scientific discovery bought me a NASCAR speed trip to the woodshed. My dad commenced to exploding a switch on my little bumper, and when he got done, yes, it looked like a bomb had went off on my backside.
Isn't that borderline abuse?
Not in my opinion. Even the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. I'll say this though, I never tried mixing chemicals together again. Ever.
That actually can be interpreted in so many different ways.
Yes, it can, Ed. Abuse is not the action of punishing the child. It is the manner in which the punishment is administered.
Hey, I like that, analogy.
Very good, Ed. You're starting to get the hang of this. It would be many years later before my next explosion encounter would happen. Only this time, I am an adult.
Are you sure?
Stop it, Ed. Remember in the beginning how I told you that all of my explosion encounters were abnormal? Well, guess what?
What?
In a million years, you will never guess what got me next. Go ahead, guess.
Do I look like a carnival worker?
Yes, but that is for another show. You can't guess? Stumped? It was a darn pot. That's right. You heard me. The next encounter would come by way of a pressure cooker.
How do you get blown up by a pressure cooker?
Well, I am working for a dental laboratory.
You're a dentist too? My God, what haven't you done?
I am not a dentist, Ed. It was a dental laboratory, a place where false teeth are made. And my job was to take the dental impression out of the box sent from the dentist to the lab and make an articulator for the impression so that the porcelain crown can be made.
What is an articulator thing?
Excellent question. An articulator is a plastic mechanism that when attached to the upper and lower molds of the teeth allow them molds to open and close like a normal mouth.
How does that work?
Well, if you've ever been to a dentist, to get a crown, they put this purple goop in your mouth in order to get an impression of the client's teeth, which will also include the bad one.
Oh yeah, I've done that before, but the goop was blue, not purple.
Different dentists use different colors. Anyway, once I would receive that impression, I would mix a plaster of Paris solution and pour it into the impression.
What the heck is plaster apparatus? That stuff.
It is a product that hardening over time makes a mold of the indentations that were in that impression from the dentist.
Hey, you have hardening of the arteries. Did you swallow some?
No, Ed. I have coronary artery disease. Once the mold was made and the articulator was added so that it would open and close, you would be able to see how the dentist client's bite was. From this point, I would use a very precise and small saw and drill to cut out the tooth on the mold that I just made on the left and right side of the tooth that was in need of repair.
Oh, that sounds like it was an interesting job.
It was. Once the cuts were made, I would drill a hole in the bottom of the removable teeth from the mold, place a rod in the hole so that another employee could determine the margins and set them for the crown to be made.
Wow. Why don't you have one of those jobs where there are letters in the name title like CFO or COE or something like that?
Because, Ed, my passion is this, exactly what we are doing right now. I love this stuff.
Yeah, but this stuff doesn't pay very well. And where does the explosion come into play?
I'm getting there.
You sure do take a long time.
Well, Ed, without the journey, there is no ride.
Yeah, and who said that nonsense? Journey, ride, what are you talking about?
I did. And my job at the time, stay with me, Ed, another facet of my job was to sandblast the cast off of the porcelain crown after it was made in the clean room.
You sandblast too?
Yes, Ed. Now the clean room, along with housing the sandblaster, housed all of the vats and sinks, etc., that were used to clean and sanitize the dental instruments.
How many jobs have you had?
Pursuing a career in entertainment? All of them. The building was 20 feet wide and 40 feet long, and the doors to enter the clean room were saloon style.
Why? Was a bar in there too?
No, Ed, it was so you could enter and exit the room carrying stuff without having to open and close the door.
Oh, that would come in handy on the front of my house for a door.
No, it wouldn't.
Why not?
Do you carry a gun on your side?
No, why?
Anybody could enter your house at any time, whether invited or not.
Oh yeah, my wife would not like that.
If I turned around from my workstation where I made the molds and attached the articulator and walked straight ahead, you would be in the clean room. After you factor in the counters and stuff, it was about 14 feet from one side of the building to the other. Put your hand down, Ed. One day I'm in the clean room and I'm sandblasting the cast off of a porcelain crown when I look over to my left, and at the end of the counter was this pot with an object on top spinning and steaming, and it's making this hissing noise. Plus, the handles were slightly askew. Having never seen a pressure cooker before in my life,
You had never seen a pressure cooker before? Didn't your grandmother ever can vegetables?
Yeah, sure. She had vegetables in a can in her house.
No, I mean canning vegetables, like in a jar.
Sometimes my grandmother had vegetables in a jar, but I never saw how she did it.
Well, she wasn't a magician. That is what the pressure cooker was primarily used for. And on a farm, the women would can vegetables a lot.
To know, Ed. Anyway, being slightly OCD meat free,
Slightly. Slightly. I know patients with OCD that aren't as OCD as you are.
I am not that bad.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, seeing those handles slightly askew and being the neat freak that I am, I walked over to the pot and grabbed the handles and pulled them together.
OMG, why would you do that?
Because I didn't know any better yet. As it turns out, that was a bad mistake.
I'll say.
Shut up, Ed. The lid from this pot came off abruptly and hit me square in the center of my forehead. I don't know where the valve on top went, but the nipple on the pot's lid left an indentation in my forehead that is still there today. Now what is wrong, Ed?
You've got to be the only guy in the world that can take something as good as the word nipple and turn it into a bad thing.
That's not funny, Ed.
No, it is not. That's my point. I didn't think it was possible to present a nipple in any other form in a negative way, but you did.
Whatever, Ed. This thing blew me 16 feet across the room and landed me in the sink of the workstation where I made the molds.
I bet that'd be a fun ride.
It was if a live character in a cartoon. My short flight caught the peripheral vision of my boss, whom came to investigate what he was sure he hadn't seen.
Hey, that's funny. You're the real life Wile E. Coyote.
I am not a cartoon, Ed.
Maybe not, but you've lived the life of one.
Anyway, I was taken to the hospital where nurses spent the next 3.5 hours picking my shirt out of my skin with tweezers from the 2nd and 3rd degree burns on my neck and chest.
Ow, what kind of shirt was it?
Why does that matter, Ed?
I don't know. Why is it such a secret what kind of shirt you were wearing?
It's not. I just don't think it's necessary to the story. But if you must know, it was my favorite shirt at the time. It was a red and black flannel shirt. What is so funny?
Who won?
What are you talking about?
You were wearing a checkerboard. I was just wondering as to who won.
So in my pain and misery, you make a joke.
Yes, this is a comedy show, not a documentary. Plus, laughter is the best medicine, remember. I was just making you heal faster.
How? What? That makes no sense at all.
Roadrunner got it. Mimi.
I went back to work many days later, but I still could not shake the trauma of being attacked by a pot.
Now that's funny. I don't care who you are.
You are... I don't know what you are. Anyway, there is no way to make this part of the story cool. And I'm not proud of my decision. But I worked my first day back until lunch. I just could not shake being in the same building with such a dangerous cooking utensil. I clocked out for lunch and never went back, not even to collect my paycheck. At that point, ladies and gentlemen, I was done. Now what is so funny?
You never saw combat in the Marines, but you lost a battle in a cooking war?
Shut up, Ed. Years later, I am married, and we have 4 children. all huddled around the Christmas tree and have just opened their presents.
Oh, cool. What did they get?
Ed, their mom, my wife at the time, opens a gift and says, "Oh, cool, a pressure cooker." I instantly got up from my chair, snatched the pot out of her hands, went to the back door, and threw that thing as far as I could in the woods.
What did you do that for?
That's what she said.
Well, they're waiting.
Having never told her this story before, I told her, "If you want pressure, honey, I'll pinch you. But we are not having one of those things in my house."
What did she say?
After telling her the story, she calmed down a little bit, but she still didn't agree with my reaction. To this day, I have never come in contact with any other pressure cooker. So people, if you own one, and you know me, and you ever invite me over to your house, you better hide your pressure cooker, because I will hurt it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that sound means it's time for the Manure Minute segment of the show. So what do we have this week, Cowboy?
Well, Mr. Ed, this week we have a question for you. Chelsea of Missouri writes, "Mr. Ed, what do you like more, being on Comedy Corral or working on your farm?"
Well, working on Comedy Corral. The farm is physical labor, where Comedy Corral is mental labor, which is, for me, is a labor of love. I enjoy acting and working in the entertainment industry, and hope one day to make a living doing this thing I absolutely love. And thanks to fans like you, that dream may in the near future become a reality. So thank you very much, and please keep watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode of the Comedy Corral. And remember, when life gets crappy, find the funny.
And be happy.